If your skin is going dry after menopause, guess what? More moisturizer is not the answer, and it's not the fix. The real problem is deeper, and it's what causes our skin cells to stay plump and for the skin to look nice. It's the stuff, I'm gonna just use that for the word right now, that holds skin together. And when your cream, you put it on and it just sits on top of the skin and you don't see it actually soaking in. And then 3 or 4 hours later, the skin feels super tight. You're knowing this is your telltale sign. But that the ceramides in your skin have been depleted. Part of this is the tightness you feel in the skin. You'll also see crepiness in the skin. And this is your first indicator not to quit your skincare and don't give up. I'll tell you that. It's just that the products that you're using are not working, and it could be also your skincare routine that is it could be something is too much, it could be something's not enough. For those of you who don't follow the channel all the time, I'm Nancy, 31 years as a esthetician. And I love this business, and I love now even more so being online with YouTube and being able to share with you all the things I've learned in the treatment room for so long. And what's really heartbreaking almost, and this is from me to you, is that nobody ever really prepares us for not only menopause changes, but what really happens to what we see in the mirror. I look in the mirror and I feel like I'm 35, hey, I look back and it's that's not quite right. But at the same time, you want to actually feel hey, I look really good for who I am and what I've been doing. You may be a sun worshiper. It may not even matter, but you still want to look in the mirror and feel super. So what happens when menopause hits is our estrogen drops out of the sky. The first 5 years of that whole journey from perimenopause to menopause is a huge decline in estrogen. I'm a big fan of bioidentical hormone replacement therapy simply because I had a hysterectomy at 37, and I honestly think my skin would look much worse than it does now, even at 69. But I'm there going, the estrogen, when we lose it, it makes a huge difference in the skin. Technology has come along though with skincare, and now the opportunities to actually be able to replace what is missing in our skin have never been better. So stay with me because this is pretty cool stuff. And the biggest, I guess the biggest hope or the biggest lesson here is don't lose hope and don't give up, because I see a lot of people that are just in that position. So the technology has never been better. So let's start with what is a ceramide and why are they so important to the skin. So I use the analogy of a brick wall because it's pretty easy to think of bricks, and then stacked between the bricks is the concrete or the cement. So a ceramide is like the cement that holds our skin cells together, and estrogen is lost and it takes with it ceramides. So that's what we start to see when our skin starts to crunch down, is it's lost the mortar between the skin cells. And the really do part of aging and the skin getting older is that ceramides make up about half of this wall that is the outer wall that protects us from everything as far as our body is concerned. And for those of you who know me, you know how much I love science. So there's a 2022 study that really talks about ceramides. It was in the scientific reports and talks about the people that replaced with estrogen therapy versus those that didn't, and the amount of ceramides that stay in the skin when you're on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. And there is a big difference. So why are ceramides so important? So when the mortar starts to go just like a brick wall, the bricks would like crunch down on top of each other, and also allows like water to leak through. So anything can leak through. The same thing happens with the skin. So moisture doesn't stay in, and also any hydration internally is leaking out. So I try to use that as the ability for you to understand why hydration and moisture, like the more healthy your skin is, the better it's going to hold in the hydration, which you need first and foremost for all of your organs. And the really crappy part about this whole thing is you slather on the moisturizer, you think you're doing right, and 3 hours later, it feels like as dry as the Sahara Desert because nothing has stayed on the skin. Everything has pretty much leaked out. And honestly, at 69, I've been on the beach, I've been fishing, I've been doing outside my whole life. So literally losing the moisture from the sun and everything in humid Florida, it's a real thing. And replacing it and having it stay inside our bodies and having our wall be better is a huge thing. So what you can do is actually put the ceramides back. So you can't replace them from ground zero, but you can put them back into the skin. There's 3 of them, and I teach this too at the conferences that I speak at on regenerative skincare ingredients. So I'm teaching you the same things that I would teach at a conference. For example, in our Skin Diva labs, the products that I truly adore and love, like unbelievably, there's 3 ceramides, and we're going to go one by one so that you can see what they do for the skin and why they're so important for replacing. And it doesn't matter whether it's Skin Diva Labs or another product. I really want you to understand this so that when you're looking at the ingredient labels on any bottle, you will immediately recognize whether it's a good product. If it has 1 ceramide, no, but if it has 3, it's a very good product. So it'll give you the tools to understand this. Research is ongoing on ceramides, but for all of what we're doing, there's 3 that are super important to the skin. They're between 9 and 12, and there's lots of subclasses in the human body, and the technology just keeps going. But for today, we're going to talk about 3. So the first one is called Ceramide NP, and it also, you might see it as Ceramide 3. It's the most common one, and if you don't see Ceramide NP on an ingredient label, that is predominantly the one that's being used in a formula. Ceramide NP kind of acts like a moisture protector. It's a fill-in to the mortar. So it's helping to really moisturize and really put the moisture back into the skin. And you'll see on the next 2 why it's important to have all 3, because each has a very specific job to do. And sadly, Ceramide NP is the first one we start to lose as we get up in age. The second one that you will see is called Ceramide AP, and you might also see it as Ceramide 6-11. And this one is helping to renew skin cells, almost like you would see an exfoliant. So Ceramide AP is considered the one that renews the skin cells. It also is very good for people that have rosacea, and it helps with the redness and the sensitivity in the skin. And the last one, which I call the bodyguard, is Ceramide EOP. Also on a label, you might see it as Ceramide 1, but this ceramide acts as a shield on the skin. So it is helping to repel anything that might be coming into the skin. The cool part about Ceramide EOP is that it almost acts like a spring that's stretching to pull across the skin. So it actually, you will see that the skin looks tighter, and it looks like it's not as papery. So you'll start to see that effect when the third Ceramide EOP starts to take hold in the skin or has been applied. The importance of Ceramide EOP is that it keeps the water from escaping. So it's very good for not only being the shield, but letting the hydration leak out of our bodies. And when our skin feels dry and tight, that's probably as when you start to use a product that has the triple ceramides in it, that'll be one of the very first things that you'll start to notice if the skin feels like a little bit tighter and nicer. And I know you're gonna ask me and you're gonna say, well, why doesn't moisturizer on top of the skin work? Or why doesn't it fix the problem? And the biggest reason is it's just applying it on the surface and it's not being absorbed into the skin, into the dermis layer. Plus, on top of that, you have to put the ceramides back in the skin. You just have to in order to be able to see the skin function healthy. So your big research when you're looking at products is take this away is when you're looking for a product that you're out there on the shelf and it says, oh, it's a ceramide serum. You want to make sure it has Ceramide NP, AP, and EOP. That's your triple super force for really making sure that the skin is holding the moisture in and that the ceramides are helping to rebuild the mortar around the skin cells that we've lost so much. And even better is when all three are working together and they're in a delivery system that puts it deep beneath the skin. What you start to see is that the skin starts to become healthy again, and dry scaly patches, redness, sensitivity, it just fades away completely. And it's also just saying one of the biggest reasons I built like not only the Everything Lifts serum, but I'm at my home now, so goodness gracious where my fountain of firm is, but it wasn't close by. But I built both of them with triple ceramides for the specific reason is that your skin really needs all three to actually be healthy. But once you have that mortar in place, it leads to other things being absorbed better. Your skin cannot absorb any, like let's say you want to put something in it to make it vitamin A. You want to put vitamin A in the skin and you want it to rebuild. Well, it's not going to absorb the vitamin A when it's dry and parched. It's just not happening. The more you copy the actual skin or mimic the skin's profile in any product out there, the better the skin is going to absorb it. And also, the better your serums and other things you're using are going to perform. And just a small, everything that you do as a daily morning and evening should be to protect your skin barrier and to make it healthy and make sure that it is absorbing the products that you're putting on it. It really starts, and even though you can have a fabulous ceramide product that has triple ceramides in it, it starts with a cleanser. It always starts with the prep. So when I see people using harsh cleansers, start there first because that is going to be the ability for the skin to actually absorb more. Skin that is stripped will never ever absorb it into the skin the way it should. Hopefully this helps you a little, maybe a lot, with actually going out and purchasing a product that has ceramides in it. If you have questions about ceramides, please don't hesitate. Ask down in the comments below. Also, I have a really fabulous guide called Dull to Dewy Reset. It goes through not only how to get your skin dewy again from eating, to little tips on this and that. It also has an AI bonus. So comment reset down in the chat and we'll pop that the link for you over for that. And thanks for staying with us, and follow us on the next video. And hey girls, share this with your friends that are over 50 that want really beautiful skin, but they don't quite understand what everybody's talking about and what everybody's trying to sell to them. Because I'll give it to you straight no matter what, because I've been doing this for so long. Part of the reason I'm actually even here is because I got so tired of hearing somebody go online and say, oh, look at this, my skin's beautiful. But they were not even talking about good products or even good tools. So that's why I'm here. So I need you to follow along in the community and let me know if you have questions, and I'll see you in the next video.